Kelly and welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who have known me for a while, know that there's something very special in my life other than my family and my faith, and that is Starbucks. So as of today, I am officially 7 days Starbucks free. And for me, that's going a long time. And it's just something that I needed to do and plow on through. Not gonna lie, the first couple days were really rough, but here we are a week in, and I'm just feeling that this is gonna be a good change, and I'm feeling pretty strong about it. So this mess on my desk, this is actually a small portion of all of the background pieces that I've made when I watercolor or do distress oxide inks or whatever adventure I'm doing for that moment. And they just tend to sit. I don't use them as often. But the reason why the stack gets this big, and actually over there is a stack even bigger, is I make them in bulk. If I have the watercolors out, if I have the distress inks out, I'm just going to go ahead and, make a bunch of backgrounds and then use them or find use for them in a future time. But I have done so many different types of backgrounds, from, using pigmented powders to making splatters and using distress oxide inks to see what, colors I can come up with, watercolors. I've even done the swinking, and just a multitude of, here's one that I used watercolors and added on some texture with glacier pastes. And then, as you see, these did not end up anywhere. So what I'm going to do is take a couple of those background pieces, and I'm going to make some floral cards. And I really want to stock my stash. And I know that's a pretty popular thing to do. And I'm really bad at making multiples of cards. I tend to make one and done. Or I hand make them for a specific person. If my friend needs a birthday card, I'll make it tailored towards her. So one of the things that I do not have very much of or keep on hand are sympathy cards and get well cards. So using some of these background pieces, I'm going to try and make as many as I can in one go so that I will be able to have those ready to go, or if someone asks for a card drive and do you have any extra cards of this or that, I'll have those as well. So let's see what I can get into. So what I'm planning to do is to cut out a background border with the cardstock and then watercolor it. And then one of these panels, or all of these panels, I'm going to do an assembly line to cut out some floral stamps and just add it on the top. And that way these will be used, and I will have some really nice cards to send. So the 4 panels are cut and they're ready to go, and I'm going to go through the stack and see which 4 panels I'm going to use for the flowers so that I'll know which colors to use as a background paint. Like in this one, I saw the blues and the teal and the yellow and little tiny speckles of pink and thought that would be the color palette for the background of the card as well. Okay, so I think I've settled on using this panel with the purple, the pink, and the red, and this one has some pink, orange, and a little bit of yellow. This one has pink, blue, and purple, and this one has green and pink. And the common denominator in these 4 I'm seeing is pink. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go to create the background on these 4 panels. So let's get the paint. So using this one as my guide, I think I'm actually going to use distress inks as the background instead of some watercolors. So I'm going to swatch this off to the side and then get an idea of how dark and how light this is going to end up being. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way and bring this in. And well, let's see. I love the richness of the pinks, and when they're all swirled together, the really unique color that you get. And I'm going to go ahead and get this a little bit wet. I'm going to keep the same card design and only do a partial part of the card. And the reason for that is it gives me a little bit of a room for a sentiment if that's what I end up doing. Next up, I'm trying to pair which oxide ink would go best with the splatter effect here. So I'm pairing up, I hope, the right colors with the right backgrounds, and we'll do a little bit of a splatter. And I think that's it. I'm going to use Twisted Citron, Dried Marigold, Shaded Lilac, and Wilted Violet. So the card panels are all finished, and the coordinated card fronts where the flowers will be stamped. And for this one, I'm going to be using the Altenew Handpicked Bouquet and the matching die, and I'm going to be stamping them each in the Misty. panels are already down, and I did pop them up on dimension. I just absolutely love that on a card, and it's definitely a labor of love when you're peeling all of these little things off of the back, but the end result I think is definitely worth it. So the last thing I need to do is peel this one, and then I'm going to start looking for the right sentiment. Originally, I was saying that I needed to make some sympathy cards and I needed to make some get well cards and just really stock my stash. I think that looks right about right. And luckily, I remembered to put lavender with lavender and the purple with the purple and the pinks and the orange and the yellow with the gold and the green with the green. So as I was looking at these, and when I had created the background, I purposely did a triangular area so that I would have room for a sentiment. And when I was looking at the stamp set for the hand-picked bouquets, although these are absolutely beautiful and I really love the fonts, it didn't really fit what I was intending for these cards to be. I was really hoping to make more get well cards and things that, you know, cheer up, pick me up type of cards. So I decided to go with a different Altenew sentiment, and this one is from the Wispy Begonia. And this one right here, You Are in My Thoughts, actually turned out to be a perfect size when I was looking at this. So we're going to stamp this one up on all the cards and keep it uniform across the board. So I'm going with You Are in My Thoughts because it's pretty versatile and pretty universal, and this part always makes me so nervous. You spend a lot of time making, you know, a beautiful card, and then you put the stamp and it's like crooked. So what I try to do is take just a junky piece of paper and get the sentiment on there more or less in the same area and see if it comes out pretty straight. Looks pretty good. I'm going to start stamping. Here's our cards. These are the completed 4, and I just absolutely love how they turned out. I love how they're so vibrant and the colors are so different and unique and just so beautiful. And it was just simple backgrounds that I had been hanging on to and finally put them to good use. And the simple watercolor in the background, doing the die cuts, and then of course the assembly line, building and stamping, and that was it. And these just turned out so sweet, and I would definitely do this again. So here are the 4 completed cards, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the process of seeing how you can just take your backgrounds and finally just crank out a couple cards and have this as the result. So thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you could like the video, I would be so happy. And if you're not subscribed and you would like to do that, I would be very grateful for that too. And I'll see you soon in another video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye-bye.